Hey guys, rate my double axel. I've been working on it a little bit.
What would you do if the biggest moment of your life, the one you trained 12 years for, collapsed in front of a billion people? Not a stumble, not a minor error, a complete, total, devastating fall from the very top of the mountain. Most people would disappear, take some time away, rebuild in private. Ilia Malinin did something different. He did something almost nobody in sports history has ever done, and he did it in 6 weeks. This is the story of the most extraordinary comeback in figure skating history, and honestly, one of the most inspiring second acts in all of sports. To understand what happened in Prague, you first have to understand what happened in Milan. Ilia Malinin walked into the 2026 Winter Olympics as the most dominant figure skater on Earth. For 2 full years, 12 consecutive competitions, he had not lost a single event. He was undefeated. He was untouchable. Sports analysts weren't even calling it a race for gold anymore. They were just debating the margin of victory. He is nicknamed the Quad God, and that name isn't hyperbole. Malinin was the first human being to ever successfully land a quad axel in competition, a jump so technically demanding that for decades, coaches told their students it simply couldn't be done at the elite level. He did it, multiple times, on the biggest stages in the world. So when he stepped onto the ice at the Milano Ice Skating Arena in February 2026, the entire weight of American figure skating was on his shoulders. The crowd felt it. The broadcasters felt it. He felt it. Then the music started, and everything went wrong. In the men's free skate, Malinin attempted the quad axel, his signature, his statement, the move that separates him from every other skater alive. He popped it, lost his footing. Mistakes compounded. His program accumulated 72 deductions. When the final note played and his score appeared, the arena went quiet in a way that only happens when something genuinely shocking occurs. He had fallen from near certain gold to 8th place. He covered his face, shook his head, held back tears. It was the kind of raw, unfiltered human moment that you can't manufacture and you can't take back. And in that moment, everything the media and the public had projected onto him, the certainty, the inevitability, the foregone conclusion, evaporated. That night, the sports world wrote its obituary for his Olympic dream. Some articles were kind, some were not. But here's the thing about Ilia Malinin. He wasn't done. In the weeks after Milan, while the world was processing what had happened, Malinin was processing something too. But it was different from what most people expected. He wasn't spiraling, he wasn't retreating. He later described the shift in how he was thinking about his sport. Before the Olympics, he said, he felt the pressure of expectation, millions of eyes, global media, the business of being an athlete. After the Olympics, something clarified. He remembered why he started. Not for gold medals, not for broadcast deals or sponsorship contracts, not for the pressure of being America's greatest hope. He skated because he loved to skate. That love had been buried under years of expectation and performance. The Olympics, in its brutal way, stripped all of that away. And when it was stripped away, what remained was pure and dangerous. 6 weeks after his Olympic fall, Ilia Malinin arrived in Prague for the 2026 World Figure Skating Championships. The story going in was obvious. The broken champion trying to save face. The skater who peaked at the wrong moment, looking for redemption. That was the narrative. That was what the world expected to watch unfold. What actually happened was something else entirely. From the moment he stepped onto the ice at the short program, something was visibly different. Not the technical precision, that had always been there. Something deeper. The way he moved through his program felt free, uncaged, like a person who stopped performing and started expressing. He won the short program, not narrowly, dominantly. Then came the free skate, the same discipline that had broken him in Milan. The same format, the same length, a different man. He skated the performance of his life, and when the scores were tallied, Ilia Malinin had won his third consecutive world championship with a total of 329.40 points, winning by 23 points. In figure skating, that is not a close victory, that is a statement. Let's pause on that number for a second. 23 points. In a sport decided by fractions where a single technical error shifts entire standings, 23 points is almost an unimaginable gap. It means that every other elite skater in the world, competing at their absolute peak, was not in the same conversation. It means Malinin didn't just bounce back, he elevated. The comeback wasn't just good, it was historically, statistically dominant. But the part of this story that I keep coming back to isn't the score. It's something Malinin said after Prague. He described being stopped on the streets of the city by fans, regular people who told him they were proud of him, that they believed in him, that his story mattered to them. And he said that in that moment, he felt more pride than after any medal he'd ever won. Think about that. A 3-time world champion, a man who has done things on ice that no other human being has ever done. And what makes him most proud isn't hardware, it's human connection. It's the feeling of being seen, not as a performance, not as a spectacle, but as a person. That right there is the story inside the story, and it's why Ilia Malinin is not just one of the greatest athletes of his generation, he might be one of the most important. We live in an era that absolutely loves a comeback narrative. We watch documentaries about it. We buy books about it. We share those stories across every platform because there's something deep in human psychology that needs to believe recovery is possible. But most comebacks in sports are measured in months or years. A torn ACL, a career crisis, a public scandal. The redemption arc usually takes a long time. Malinin turned his around in 42 days. And he didn't do it through grit and grind alone, though that was obviously part of it. He did it by reconnecting with something that high-pressure performance culture tends to destroy: joy. The actual simple joy of doing the thing you love. That's a lesson that goes way beyond figure skating. Whether you're navigating a career setback, recovering from a financial hit, rebuilding after a personal failure, the question Malin's story asks is, when you strip away the expectation, the performance, the audience, do you still love what you're doing? Because if the answer is yes, you're not done. Ilia Malinin went to Milan as the favorite and left in 8th place. He went to Prague to skate and came home a 3-time world champion. If you're watching this and you've got your own version of Milan sitting behind you, a failure you haven't fully processed, a setback that still stings, I want you to sit with this story for a minute. Because Malinin didn't ignore what happened. He processed it, found what mattered, and went back out. That's the whole formula. That's it. If this video moved you at all, hit subscribe and drop a comment. What's your personal comeback story? I genuinely want to read them. See you in the next one.